Lovelies, it's Heather here. I'm gonna go ahead and shoot today's video. Okay, so ever since yesterday's video, the first video that I shot, I see talking about how that person possibly was just somebody like trying to kind of dig at me, dig at my psyche and stuff like, and all that. But then going back and reading it in the second video, and if you watch it, you'll see how I talked about, I was like, maybe not, and all this and everything. And if this legitimately is, a person that is going through this, and it's not some made up bullshit story and everything. But that's the thing too, is even yesterday whenever they messaged me, they're like, oh yeah, I went to the doctor, everything's good, and that was like the end of their conversation. Like they didn't proceed to keep having a conversation with me like they had the night before. So it kind of builds the illusion a little bit more still, like maybe this really isn't a real person, and also the fact that, they're on there a day and they're gonna, and they're a member of other aminos, so, because they got the frame and all that and everything. And so why, if they've been a member of other aminos long enough to have money, to get a frame, to do all these things, then why would they come to a brand new one and reach out there and talk about the possibility of them going to do drugs? Yet they've been on amino, obviously, at least 6 months on other ones, to have the coins and the reputation, the status that they do have, if you will. And they're not going to talk to those people that they've known for 6 months. And while I do understand venturing out and finding new people to talk to, because you feel trapped or whatever, I don't know. And so hopefully, if this is a real person and this is a real 13-year-old, I hope and pray to God that like a bunch of 13-year-olds don't come and see this that's friends with them or their mama or whoever, because I'm leaving them up as of right now. Now, I might end up taking the 2 videos down. I don't know, because I feel guilty about it, because I'm putting somebody else's story out there. But then again, they put their story out to me. But then again, it was in chat. And then again, it was in Amino. And supposedly Amino is like really bad at being hacked and all kinds of stuff. It's not like a real high up, protected thing. And I've noticed that even in what little bit I've been on it and stuff, is that it's just a very flimsy, kind of, get away, go, a very, flimsy kind of, Clarabelle, no, go, my cheese, go lay down. Social media type thing or whatever. I can't even think because the dog. But, and then again, I should be able to think because the dog. I shouldn't put it on the dog, but then again, I care a lot about the dog. I feel bad not giving her cheese, but anyways, it's my cheese. So anyways, I feel kind of bad about it because I'm like, oh God, if this is a 13-year-old, oh God, I just put all their stuff out on YouTube. Luckily, I'm not at a point that I'm famous enough that it's like, or anything that's like, oh my God, did you hear, and stuff like that. And then I also put in the video yesterday, the first video, shit dealing with EJ and Jennifer, and how I feel like I'm constantly being conned all the time to a degree and stuff. And then my dad raised me to be paranoid. He was just constantly, don't trust anything, don't trust anybody, don't trust. And I slightly was that way with my daughter, I was like, I was like, always ask, always make sure you're in your own state of mind, before you make a decision, to trust somebody, I was like, don't second guess yourself. Like, if you have a feeling, then go with that feeling, go with your gut, go with your intuition. I was like, but, kind of step back for a second, just make sure, because I didn't want her to grow up to be overly paranoid, like I was, and like I had to kind of revert out of that because I was really bad. And then having my exes, both of them, my kid's dad, be like, I got eyes and ears everywhere, and then my husband being like, my family's part of the militia, and shit like that and everything. And then it was just like, oh my God, my dad is right. And then, like, the whole gist of, like, the issue between me and EJ, and then EJ's dad showing up, like, 3 days, at work when I was still working first. And then the people that work with him showing up at night, and I'm talking like 7 of them when usually there was only maybe 1 or 2, when all this shit's going on between me and EJ, and I'm just like, holy shit, and I'm just like, are people that sit there and they're like, the Matrix is real, and doppelgangers and all this and everything. I'm like, is there some truth out there that I need to know? Because, I mean, and it's just like, can't it just stop, And then that's even, oh my God, speaking of doppelgangers or what the hell ever. And I ain't even watched a video on that in like almost a year or whatever, but I think, or 6 months. But, and I was just like, oh my God, that's so funny, And I used to have people be like, come up to me in Walmart and stuff and be like, oh my God, are you so-and-so? And I'm like, no. And they're like, oh my God, you have to be. And I'm like, no. I can't remember what her name was because I got mistaken for her like 3 or 4 times when I was younger. And one time I just went with it because I was tired, because they were adamant that they knew who I was. So I was just like, yeah, and I was like, mm-hmm. Because they come up to me and they like hugged me and I was just like, what the fuck is this, And they're like, oh my God, where have you been? And I'm like, busy. And they're like, you got a baby? Because my daughter was in the buggy. And I was like, yeah, And they were like, well, how have you been? And I'm like, okay, And then I'm kind of looking at them like, don't I look a little off to you if you look at me, And they were like, okay, well, I'll see you later. I mean, it was just a real quick, And the way that they come at me so excited, it kind of put me in a state of shock, and I was like, fuck, But, anyways. Adam, my kid's dad. There's literally about 3 or 4 people around here that live around here that look like him. One of them even goes to the church that I used to go to, that my daughter still goes to. And, like, it took forever, like, what was it? It was like 2 or 3 Easters ago that he was at the egg hunt, the guy that looks like Adam. And I tried to not stare, I tried to not make it obvious, but I kept like glancing over at him because I was like, oh my God, he looks a lot like him, And then I get to thinking about black people and how black people get mad, or something, because supposedly white people are like, all black people look alike, and stuff like that. And some of them do, not all of them, no, but some of them do look very similar, And I got to thinking about, the doppelgangers. And then there was this guy, one year, God, it was probably about 4 or 5 years ago. I was out at Walmart. I think it was right as I was moving in here or right before. And I was like, Adam, because, like, when we got out, they were in front of us. And when we got out of the car, like, they were like 3 cars in front of us still, like in the parking area or whatever. And they stood there and just looked our way, like at me and my kid. And I was like, oh my God, he'll be here in this area. He'll recognize us and he'll stare at us, because like I was getting Ava out, or whatever, and like all her stuff or whatever, because I think she was sick. I don't know. I think she was sick, and so I was like carrying her, and she had a blanket and stuff, and like her stuffed animal or something. So I was like piling her up, and or something. I don't know, or maybe was bringing stuff back. Anyways, there was something that I had to get out of the car, and so it took a minute to get out of the car, and then I was like, I think I actually left the stuff because I was like, if that's him, and Ava's sick, or if that's him and we're here and he don't see her and she wants to see him and he wants to see her but he's afraid to or what, I was like, this shit's got to end. So this person is like 3 cars down from us and they're just kind of standing there and it looks like they're looking our way and they're standing there for like 5 fucking minutes, it seems like. And so I just start to walk towards them. When I start to walk towards them, they turn around and they start walking really fast away. And so I was like, that has to be Adam. Adam would be the only one dumb enough to do that. There's no way, coincidentally speaking, and stuff like that or whatever. And so I like chased them down, not like chased them down, but I was like, Adam, and they turned around twice and looked at me. And I still to this day can't guarantee whether it was him or wasn't him. But after like the 3rd time of saying his name and he went on into the store, and that's the thing too, why are you going to turn around if it's, but then again, we kind of were the only people out there. I mean, yeah, it's Walmart and it's kind of busy, but it was kind of, not that, I don't know the word I'm looking for. Oh shit, what's the word I'm looking for? But anyways, so after the 3rd time hollering Adam, and them turning around and just keep on walking, I was just like, fuck it. And then I got to thinking, I was like, maybe that's not him. And I was like, it looked like him, but I'm not sure. Maybe it wasn't him, So I just kind of let it slide. And like I said, I've seen people that do look like him, and I'm like, holy shit, and I'm like, they have to be related. And then Adam don't know who his dad is, supposedly, so there's a highly likely possibility. So my kid might have a bunch of uncles out there and just not know it. And then that's the thing too, is like, probably like the majority of other towns everywhere and other cities and other states, if rich people want to act promiscuous, then they're more entitled to do so because they're rich. And so their babies don't matter, or to a degree, And how many side pieces they have doesn't matter to a degree and everything. And so, and that's the reason, like, I feel like I'm stuck in hillbilly hell sometimes, is because I feel like everybody's related to everybody and nobody wants to admit it because, oh my God, that would be undermining the people that, are of the power, and have the money or whatever and shit like that. And I'm just like, calm the fuck down, I'm not here to be like, oh my God, you were promiscuous and you cheated on your wife 3 times and had 3 children with who the fuck ever, and oh my God, let's take you out and, lynch you, hang you, or whatever. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. Do what the fuck you want to do. As long as you are not hurting me or hurting my child or hurting my nieces or my family, it's okay. Do what you want to do. You hurt them, though, we're going to have a problem. Like, but other than that, do whatever. You do you, I'll do me. But anyway, so back to yesterday's videos. I kind of felt bad about them. And then, like, I went and looked up the Japanese emoji again. And the squinty eyes, because they're not, when I found them, they weren't by themselves. They had like a underscore or whatever, like mouthpiece, if you will, or whatever if it's a face. But the eyes represented feelings of being shy, feelings of having shame, or happy. And see, this is the same debate that I remember fucking getting into a long ass time ago. And I think it was with EJ and her little internet friends or what the hell ever. And see, EJ's had the same internet account, one of them for 10 years. So I'm 30, so I would have been 20. And so that kind of would have seemingly seemed right and everything. But then she has this other account, and I can't even, I would have to remember where the hell I found it, in all honesty. And I remember getting into this fucking argument or whatever. Or maybe I didn't get into the argument with her, but maybe I was on the phone with my ex-best friend from 6th grade, all the way up until recent or whatever. And I was like, oh my God, this person's sitting here trying to act like a damn, mysterious something or another. I said, but right here, if you go into this one page that they have, it states their, gender, sexuality, or whatever. And that's another thing, too. Even speaking about that, is there's this one person that's on, I think it's what is it? Is it the LGBTQ amino? I think it is. And they're like, let me tell you, gender and sexuality and this and that's like different and everything. And I was just like, I feel like they've watched my video and I feel like that's like an attack against me, because I didn't go into it, in full on detail and stuff. Because they're like, I'm a female, but I consider myself gender fluid, or something like that. And I was just like, okay, and like the only reason I made a comment about anything in my video the other day or whatever is because like I feel like a bunch of people are wanting to get on the train of saying that they're pansexual just because somebody else says it, and it's like don't do that, and it's like if you're doing it to pick on the person, don't even do that. If you're doing it because you're like, oh, they're pansexual, so if I'm pansexual, then that means this and that and everything. And so I was just describing myself. I wasn't standing for the whole fucking community, so calm the fuck down. So anyways, and talking about being demi-romantic. But anyway, so back to dealing with Kinda EJ and the whole past internet stuff and all this and everything. This other page that she has, I don't even know what the fuck it's on. Like, and I found it a few months ago and I was just like, ha, and I was like, I knew I've seen, like whenever, I pulled it up, I was like, oh shit, oh snap, and I was like, I've seen this before. And then that's the thing, too, is like her and this girl that she used to hang out with that was her friend or whatever and stuff. I've seen them before out and about, on occasion and everything. And that's what I'm talking about. It's like it's really hard to get along with people when everybody wants to act like they don't remember anything. And some of it's acting and some of it's not. Some of it's they really don't fucking know or they really don't fucking care. And then I have moments in time where, like, my memory lapses, so it's like, no, I don't know who the fuck you are. You better tell me who the fuck you are. Like, I don't remember, But once you tell me and once I go home and think about it, that's just like the guy that I made a pizza for, and I forgot his fucking jalapenos. And, like, that was like at 8 o'clock at night. And then, like, at 1 a.m., it hit me. It was like, damn, Heather, you forgot his jalapenos. It's like brain lapse or what the fuck ever. But, and then, that's, if you've watched my other videos where I've talked about being on Zyrtec and how I was on Zyrtec for like a year before I got pregnant with my kid, and I literally woke up one morning and it's like everything, I didn't have to think extra hard at anything. I could just think and there was the answers, like the stuff that I knew. It's like things that I'd known easily before, like my allergies are apparently fucking horrible, and I mean, that would attest for a lot of, like, health type things, and everything. The fact that my teeth are decaying more than they ever have, I had to have a tooth pulled, and then I have one back here, which granted it was broke off, and and that can't be good, to be walking around with a fucking hole in the back of your mouth, because it's in between two teeth, and so half the tooth's rotted, and they're like, oh, we're going to have to pull this one out just to get that one out, and I'm like, no, there has to be a way to just get the rotten one out. I don't care if you got to break it 800 fucking times or whatever to get it out. Leave this one good tooth, Because who wants to lose teeth, especially when they're 30. I've done lost one up here, one of my molars, and it's like I don't want to lose teeth, and I'm sorry that I can't afford to go to the dentist, but I don't want to lose teeth if I can help it, And so anyways, I'm walking around with a gaping hole in my fucking mouth for 3-4 years now. My sinuses and allergies are horrible. I'm supposed to be on some type of medicine. I'm not supposed to have dogs. I'm not supposed to have cats. I'm not supposed to go outside. Technically, I'm supposed to live in like fucking Antarctica because I'm allergic to everything. Slightly. There's nothing out there that I'm not somewhat, ever so slightly allergic to. So basically, the world is trying to kill me. You know, if you want to put it as a joke, and not funny. You know, and the very things that I love are trying to kill me. You know, I love dogs, I love cats, I love pets. They shed their hair, you know, their dander. I love the smell of fresh cut grass. I'm allergic to all types of grass. I love trees. I'm allergic to all types of trees. You know, I'm allergic to every fucking thing that I like, you know. Like, damn, was my life not done shitty enough, you know, just as a kid and having, like, kind of abusive parents? No, I had to grow up and have even more problems with the rest of the world. But, so anyways, I don't know how I'm alive sometimes. I really don't. And then, from where I went walking in the rain, trying to get to EJ's house a fucking year ago, or whatever, over a year ago. Fuck, when was it? Hell, I can't remember. Let's see. Oh, October, September, October, November, December, January, February, March, February, January. I think it's been a year. No, it ain't been a year. What the fuck am I talking about? I don't even know. Oh my God, my brain. Let's see. Okay. Maybe it has been a year, because I didn't start the YouTube until October, after a bunch of shit had done happened between me and her. Is that right? Fuck, I can't think. Yeah, okay, yeah. Because I started my job in September, and that's when we met, of 2017, and then I worked all of, most of 2018 there, so yeah. So it's been a year, or I don't know. I'd have to go back and look, and I'm not doing that right now. But anyway, so for at least 6-8 months, or however long or whatever, from where I went walking in the rain, and I got soaked. Thank God I had a rain jacket on, but my pants, basically I was soaked up to my knees. And then she wouldn't even answer the fucking door. Man, like, seriously? Like, can I come in and just take my shoes off and let my shoes dry? But no, so I had to sit out there for like an hour or two with all the shit going on and the cops being called and all that, and then I got a ride home. And then I came home, and then the maintenance people were here, and just them being themselves and wanting to be in the gossip, you know, and what's going on, and don't really care. And I'm like, don't, you know. And, like, I'm trying to be strong, you know, like, don't mess with me. I'm trying to be in my own little world, you know, or whatever, and take care of myself, you know. So they hugged me, and they're like, don't do anything stupid, because the day before, you know, I was all, like, you know, really bad depressed, like I was in the video a few days ago. And they're like, don't do anything stupid. And that's the thing, too, is, okay, you know, like, people that want to be like, Heather, don't kill yourself. Okay, what am I supposed to do? Well, you're supposed to live your life, and you want your kid back, right? Yeah, I do. Yeah, I've been wanting my kid back since fucking day one, man. Yeah, I want my kid back. Okay, well, you need to do that. Okay, motherfuckers. I'm sitting here going, I need to go to counseling, and I don't have a ride. I need to go to court, and I don't have a ride. I need to go pay child support, and I don't have a ride. And all of y'all are riding around in y'all's fucking cars going and getting food, fast food, every fucking day, every fucking night and shit. Going to fucking Chattanooga, you know, once a month, usually. That's usually what the typical population around here does. And then y'all are like, Heather, we love you. Don't kill yourself. Get your kid back. And I'm like, okay, are you helping me? And then it's like, Jen, yeah, she helped me to get my license and stuff. She said she was going to help me to get a car. That was 2 months ago, you know, and she didn't find one supposedly, but she wasn't looking, which is, she would if it was for herself, and I get that and everything. And I get that everybody's like, do it yourself, do it yourself, do it yourself, do it yourself. I'm trying. I've been trying to do everything myself for a very, 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 very fucking long time. And apparently I don't know what the fuck I'm doing because I've never had any goddamn guidance on what the fuck to do. Okay? And then y'all want to get mad, y'all people that have had guidance, and y'all are doing worse than me. I'm sorry. Somebody guided you wrong. Somebody taught you wrong or whatever. Like, I can't help it. But anyway, so it's like, okay, don't kill yourself, and all this and everything. And Heather, you shouldn't feel bad about that. And and it's like, okay, but who's helping me? You can't sit there and say that you love me and then not help me. You can't sit there and say that you give a damn about me and then not even talk to me. Like, yeah, I was raised in an abusive-ass family that did that, okay? I love you, Heather, I love you. Oh, do you? That's the reason when I come in and I talk to you about something serious and I'm like, hey, I'm thinking about having sex. Hey, I'm thinking about doing drugs. Hey, I need to go because I am having sex and get put on birth control. Hey, I'm itching down there and it's not right and I'm bleeding and I need to go to the doctor. Can you take me? Yeah, I will in like 2 weeks, not right now. Like, that's the responses that I got, okay? So I'm used to people not giving two flying fucks of a shit, like, I don't know, or whatever about me. I'm used to it. And when you're used to it, and then people still keep doing it, and then they're like, why are you so depressed? Why the fuck do you think? Use your goddamn brain. And then you people out here that got people that actually do care about you, and you're like, what? Why doesn't somebody care about you? It must be something wrong with you. Why doesn't somebody care about you? I don't know what to say to that anymore. And then, let me finish that bit about walking to EJ's or whatever. So ever since then, it's like my big toenails are fucked up. Like, basically, like halfway, with like, what is it? The thick toenail shit and all that. So fungus, Can't get to the doctor to even have that looked at. Okay? Like, and I'm thinking about just going to Jen anyways and having to ask, because being like, hey, what do you need? What do you need to make your life good, basically, is Jennifer, and I'm like, this, that, and that, and this. And then she's like, okay, and then she just sits there, is the best way to word it. And I'm not saying that to be hateful, but that's the truth. That's basically, and she's like, well, I got my stuff to do, And so it's like, if you need something, you have to ask for it, and you have to really ask for it, and you have to really appreciate it. It's kind of reminds me of my mom, you have to really, 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 really want it, you have to really, 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 really want it. And that's the thing, like, that I love about kids and babysitting kids and doing for kids and stuff. Kid asks me one fucking time for something, and if I can get it for them, I'm going to do it. I hop up and I do it. I'm thirsty. Okay, what do you want to drink? I'm hungry. Okay, what do you... They don't even have to say... they don't even have to say anything. And then half the time, I'm done offering anyways. So they hit the door, and I'm like, hey, are you hungry? Hey, are you thirsty? Hey, do you want anything to eat? Hey, would you like to watch a movie? Hey, this, hey, that. Because I was taught to be that way, and I realized, like, stepping back more into that thought process this morning because of watching a video that's put out by this one person that I'm subscribed to. Love her to death. And she's so smart and compassionate. Like, just damn. Like, I'm like, can you be my counselor? Can you be my counselor? But then it's like, oh yeah, she probably could, but I would have to pay her, and I'd have to pay over the line, and this and that, and then to get the courts to pay attention to me taking that counseling and all this and everything, and you can't when you're poor. You can't. You just can't. And then people are like, Heather, go do a fund me, a GoFundMe. Why? So I can get made fun of? Anything that I do, even doing YouTube, is putting my ass in the line of fire. So I have to make sure that it's worth the risk. Because people love to pick. People love to mock. People love to be trolls. People love to make people feel like shit. Hurt people hurt people. But the most hurt people don't do it. But then when they finally get fed up and they do, everybody's like, oh my God, see, they are so mean. Oh my God, they are so mean. You know? I don't know, the whole head wrap and game of it all and everything. But anyways, I watched the video this morning. I'm so grateful that the person put it out. And in all honesty, there were some things that they mentioned, and I feel like they were talking to me. Hell yeah, you know. But they're talking about codependency and about narcissists and all that, and about not feeling shamed for being codependent. And about how people try to make you feel shamed for it. And that's pretty much what's going on. And that's what's always went on every time I've tried to get over my codependency, if you will, and tried to do the work of it, is people are like, oh my God, you're so needy. Oh my God, you require so much attention. Oh my God, this. Oh my God, that. And that's even like dealing with people like my husband and my kid's dad. And then, okay, basically, there's white and black, okay? You know, like, there's no in between, whenever you get down to rules, whenever you get down to rules and structure, and like that fist of everything, it's like, there's white and there's black. There's good and there's bad, there's God and there's the devil. You get what I'm saying? Whenever you cut away all the drama and the bullshit of everything, that's what you're left with. So basically, for as far as narcissists and codependents, if you cut away all the fucking drama, and that's all that you can be, technically, okay? You're else narcissistic or you're not, okay? That's all you can be. That's like, you're else pretty or you're not. You're else smart or you're not. You're else a dog or you're not. I mean, if you cut away all the shit, if you cut it away, and that's like even people that want to be cut dry when it comes to gender. You're else a male or a female, And so they cut away, to find the mass majority, so that way they can like dictate, and that way they can have like a set standard. So you're else a narcissist or you're not. The majority of people are narcissistic. The majority of people are narcissist. The majority of people did learn the whole self-love shit at some point in time. And they did learn to be narcissistic, where the minority of us didn't. And so where they learned that, then when we look at them, they're narcissistic. And when they look at us, we're codependent little pieces of shit. And then whenever we try to become like them, if you will, and not be like fully narcissistic and all about yourself, but just give a shit about yourself and care about yourself, that's when they start shit talking you. Because what do narcissists do to other narcissists? Because I can tell you, because they're constantly mirroring each other. So they're constantly hating everything inside of each other. Oh, this one cares more about herself and her car and her life, and this one cares more about his this and his that and da-da-da. And so back behind closed doors, they shit talk each other. And us little codependents that are supposed to be dumbasses see this. But then whenever we're having a hard time and the narcs want to come to us, if you will, and I'm not saying that in an offensive way, but the people that are more narcissists than us come to us and they're like, care about yourself. Be selfish. Have that attitude of, I don't care, Be proud of yourself and all this and everything. And then we try to. Well, when y'all do the shit talk that y'all normally do to each other, and y'all don't understand that we're like a damaged thing trying to come up, trying to sprout and trying to be like y'all. But we don't see y'all attacking each other. We just become a hermit again. We just turn back into ourselves and are like, I'll just be codependent over here. Because y'all are mean to each other behind each other's back. Y'all shit talk each other. Y'all are so fucking hateful. I don't want to be hateful. I like being nice. And that's even like the whole gist of the internet and me when I've been on Facebook and me on Amino even now and everything. And it's even the kids that might actually be coming to me, and I'm helping them and I'm putting helping them above myself, and I'm putting helping, anybody above myself. And so I'm not doing my self-care, because I'm expecting for somebody, yes, to put back, into me what I put into them, And the majority and the masses don't do that. Or they'll pretend to do that and then they just step the fuck out of it. And that's basically what has happened in every relationship that I've ever been in. Adam took care of me. That's all there is to it. I would not be sitting here. I would not be alive if it was not for Adam. He was a godsend whenever he came along. He might be a meth head, but he's my meth head. He might be a piece of shit, but he's my piece of shit. He might be a crappy dad, but he's my kid's crappy dad. If it was not for him showing up in my life when he did, because I'm sitting here and my family life is shit. I'm sinking. I've done tried to commit suicide 3 damn times by the time I meet Adam. Or 2. Let's see, there was the bleachers that I threw myself off when I was a kid. And then I tried to hang myself after Steven hung himself. And there was 3 times. And then there was the blanket that I put around my throat when I was a little kid. Tried to kill myself. I mean, I wasn't necessarily trying to kill myself. Like, killing myself wasn't even really a thought. It was just, I don't want to be here. Because I'm a burden. Like, I'm invisible all the time anyways. So what would it matter if I'm just not here? So anyways, so 3 suicide attempts. And I'm still dating the guy that wouldn't break up with me so that way I could date Steven. This is a guy that just talks to me on the phone, that has been neglecting our relationship. Used to, we'd talk on the phone every day, every week, or something like that. We've went 3 weeks. We've went 2 weeks without talking, and then I'm the one doing all the calling. I'm the one pursuing the relationship. I'm the one still keeping the relationship going. And then every time after Steven's suicide, and I'm trying to break up with this guy, he won't let me because he's saying that no, he does care about me. And he's pretty much, it's almost like if you have a kid together and your kid dies, and it puts strain on the relationship. Well, you can imagine what a suicide does to a relationship. So our relationship is strained because of the suicide. Because I was trying to break up with him so I could date this other guy. And he wouldn't answer the fucking phone so I could break up with him. And then this guy commits suicide. So there's a strain on the relationship. And so I'm trying for months to keep it going. And finally, that summer, I'm like, I can't do this anymore because every time I talk to Mike, I just think about Steven. I can't. All I see is Steven. I was like, I can't do this anymore. So I got on the phone with him one afternoon during the summer, and this is when my parents are moving into a new trailer, and they got back together. And that's the thing too, is like, they separated, let's see. And maybe Steven's suicide is what even kind of stemmed into their relationship. Because my mom came and picked me up that day when I found out. And she didn't even care to come and pick me up. Like, I literally sat there for like almost 3 hours waiting on her to come pick me up. And she wouldn't come pick me up until she got her lunch. She refused to leave to come pick me up from school to take me home. And my dad, I was told never to call my dad. And then, even on the few times that I did call my dad, I did get bitched out for it. So I learned not to call my dad. My sister could have came and got me, but I think she was working at the time too. Or she was just at her boyfriend's and you don't interrupt her when she's doing her thing, or whatever. But my mom finally comes and gets me. I've done bawled my eyes out in the hallway for hours. I've done talked to the nurse, which is actually his aunt, which made me feel even worse for crying as much as I was, because she wasn't tore up about it. She was able to hold her composure. And I was dying. And, so my mom came and picked me up. And I just got in the car. I remember buckling the seatbelt, and I remember just getting out. And I remember being silent like I was in the 3rd grade, just dead silent. Just, like stepped into myself and gone. I'm in a dark place, and nobody can be there with me. And I remember my mom, I remember my mom looking at me because she was just going about her normal self, and everything. And I remember her kind of grabbing me and looking at me and being like, Heather, what is it? To say that, even, it's like, God, you're so narcissistically stupid. Do you not get it? Like, somebody that I care about just committed suicide. You're such an idiot, is what I want to say to her. And my God, I have to not be me for you to notice me. I have to be completely and totally void of life and feeling and everything for you to even notice me. And so whenever she said that, I just cried until I passed out. And I remember when I came to, I was on my knees in the bathroom floor. And she was hollering at me, Hold on. But, she was hollering at me or whatever, And I remember I just got up, and I was just and I cleaned my face up, and I washed my face like I've been taught, And I just went to my room and I slept for days. But, so anyways, so my parents separated there for a while. And they got back together. And this was all within my, age 15 or whatever. Because I met Adam right before I turned 16. But, God, I'm getting sick thinking about everything. But, because it's just a bunch of unresolved crying. But it's an unresolved crying because nobody can comfort me through it, and nobody cares to. It's the problem. And every time I try to start with somebody, trusting them to be comforting towards me, it always fails. And then my husband, he tried to on a few things, supposedly, 2 times, I broke down really bad on him, and he's just like, I can't see you cry like this. He's like, I can't stand it. He's like, stop. But, so anyways, so my parents had separated, got back together. There was the hope of not having to deal with my dad anymore, not having to deal with his verbal abuse anymore. And even though my mom's narcissistic, all wrapped up in herself, then that gives us the room to be narcissistic and all wrapped up in ourselves. And then me and my sister can become best friends for the first time in ever, because We've never had the opportunity to. So we're hanging out, we're having the best time ever. I mean, I don't want to place it all on my dad. But when my mom's narcissistic abuse is done, known of, and it's silent for the most part. And so it's just whatever. You get used to it. You're just like, whatever. That's the way it's always going to be. It was like that when I was 2. It's going to be like that until I'm 35. It's going to be like that until I'm dead, Like, that's just the way she's going to be. My grandmother's always been like, yeah, your mom's number 1 on the totem pole, And she is. That's the way she does herself, And so you just learn to realize that and deal with it. But whenever your dad is verbally abusive, whenever he's physically abusive and all kinds of stuff, but when the verbal abuse just continues daily, and you're just thinking, would you just shut the fuck up already, And I think I even popped off one damn day and I was like, I don't know what I said, but I said something along the lines of shutting him up, I don't know. And he was within earshot, and he's like, what'd you say? And I was like, you fucking heard me, I was like, you fucking heard me. And he didn't say anything else afterwards. Because, I got into a fight with him when I was 11 to fight him off from, him continually beating my ass and shit, because I got fed up. I'd been fed up for years, I was tired of hurting. But he hadn't even whooped me in almost a year leading up to that, or a few months leading up to that fight or that altercation or whatever you want to call it at 11. But it's like I was talking to my sister, I think, or something, and I was like, yeah, and I was like, I just wish he would shut the fuck up. And I was like, I was on the computer, I think, if I remember correctly. I was sitting there and she walked in and she's like, hey, and I'm like, hey, and she's like, what is it? And I was like, I just wish he would shut the fuck up, And he's in earshot, he's sitting in the other, area or whatever, and she just kind of snickers, and I was like, I'm about tempted to go grab my damn dirty socks and shove them down his goddamn throat and put duct tape across his mouth. And then she just really started laughing, and I was like, it's not fucking funny, I mean it. Because he'd been sitting there all day, fucking bitches, goddamn whores, won't clean nothing, won't do shit, and everything. And I was just like, shut up, because I was trying to do, stuff for school on the internet, And, he heard me, and he's like, what'd you say? And I was like, you fucking heard me? I was like, you fucking heard me. But, anyways, so back to the whole suicide thing and all that, my mom and everything. If Adam wouldn't have came along when he did, I would not be here. I would have committed suicide, and I probably would have kept on until it was successful if it wouldn't have been successful the first time. But Adam come along and he took care of me. And granted, it might be like, oh, he really took care of you because, boy, y'all were fucking and y'all had a baby. Adam cared about my emotions. Slightly, but still. More than anybody ever had. And it wasn't just slightly, actually. There for the first, 6 months, it's new love. And it was infatuation, and everything. And it was nice, and it was amazing, and it was great, and it was kind. And he was gentle and sweet and loving and all this. And everything. And that's the reason I kind of broke up with him a few times, is because I was like, this can't be real, And then he did a suicide attempt, taking pills and shit. And I was like, okay, maybe it is real. So then he's got me convinced that he does love me. But then he goes to prison when I'm pregnant and I have our kid. And then he gets out and he goes and gets high and cheats on me. So I'm like, yep, it wasn't real. He didn't love me. It was all a facade. But sometimes I think he's kind of mad at me and feels like maybe I should have took care of him. I did what I could in our relationship. I really did. But he filled a gap, if you will, that needed to be filled. He filled a position in my life. He took his role, in my life. And I can't be mad at him for that. I adore him for that. And sometimes that's the reason I'm like, could you just stop and let me be, appreciative, of you as just a human being, But anyway, so Adam and me were pretty decent, even though he treated me kind of shitty later on and cheating on me and stuff like that and everything and stuff. And then Casey, my husband, and I don't know. But it's like nobody can ever deal with me falling apart on them, is the best way to word it. Like, I gotta stay glued. I gotta stay glued together. I gotta hold myself together. I can't ever be weak around nobody. Or if I am, and that's the thing too, is like I get the nickname of crybaby because I cry at work, and I get the nickname of attention whore because, yeah, I'm looking for attention, but I'm not looking for attention from the world. I'm just taking the world along with me right now because I don't know what the fuck else to do, and it's the only thing keeping me sane. And yeah, it is my only social life. Getting on YouTube, getting on Amino, getting on Facebook. Yeah, it's been my only social life for a really long time other than my daughter. And I was stripped of my daughter, if you will. I was wrapped up in being a mother. That's all I was. I've not had a car. I've not been able to go out and socialize and meet people and this and that. And then what do? What's the thing that people are doing whenever they do hop in their car and they do go here and there and talk to this person and that person and this person and that person and get out and socialize? Is that not seeking attention and going out and finding it? It is. So shut the fuck up. You're going out and finding attention in your goddamn way. Do you see me sitting here calling you piece of shit and an attention whore? Do you see me sitting here crossing my arms going, you go to Chattanooga once a month? God, you're such an attention whore. Do you see me doing that to you? No, I'm not. So don't do it to me whenever I get on fucking Amino, whenever I get on fucking YouTube, whenever I get on fucking Facebook, and I'm talking to people. And I'm glad that I'm talking to people. You're glad when you go out and you talk to people, are you not? When you socialize with people, when you find people that, comfort you somewhat, or you get along with somewhat, so shut the fuck up. I mean, that's one damn good thing about me. I reckon that my daddy's abuse did teach me. Is that rooted stubbornness, or whatever. Yeah, I'm sensitive. I will bawl my fucking eyes out. I've been through emotional turmoil, hell, and I want to find somebody that can handle comforting me. And then I used to be like, you know what? Maybe it's not just one person that I need to find that can comfort me. Maybe I need to find a series of people, like a family, like kind of build my own little family, if you will, of people that can do that. I can't even find somebody that can sit with me and let me cry for like an hour. Like legit. Because they end up crying. And then I end up having to be the strong one. Like, what? Can I be weak for once emotionally? Or do I always have to be on guard? And sadly, I feel like I've learned the lesson that yes, I always have to be on guard. And so, pardon me if I'm always on guard because y'all have taught me that I always need to be on guard. Not just my parents, but the population of everybody that I've ever fucking came into contact with. All the way to Adam, EJ, anybody. And so, this is who I am. But at the end of the day, if you keep pushing, and the whole person that got on my YouTube and was like, are you really a nice person, or are you a nice, mean person? Do you want me to put my boot in your ass? Is that what you want? Because if you do, I can, what do you want? And then it's like, oh, wait, you want to shit talk me and be like, oh, she's a people pleaser, and I am to a degree until we reach a point where I'm just not no more. Until you've just taken, and I've had to put my foot down with you and be like, listen, we're done. And then y'all want to pout and be like, you're so mean. Hell, I can't even ask people, I can't even talk to people and be like, yeah, I need to go to counseling so that way I can hurry and get my daughter back. But I don't have a ride. And them go, I'll take you. I can't have them just do that. Nobody does that for me. Melissa did when it first happened. But Melissa only did because, A, for starters, she might drink a lot. Because people have thrown off on her, okay? She might drink a lot, but she's lost a son, and that's the way that she coped with it, okay? But she has more common sense than 90% of y'all out there that I've fucking met. But then again, also, I cried in front of her, and it made her cry. Once again, can I cry and somebody not cry? You know? You know? And even EJ, I talked to her about Steven's suicide, and I cried. She started crying. And then when she came over or whatever, I was talking earlier and I cried a little bit, and then later on that night and that day, like hours later, like she broke down and she cried, you know? But I don't mind that. I would rather have that relationship where I cry, they cry, I cry, they cry, and we're both crying, you know, and we're both working through our shit, versus me just crying all the time, you know, and then in that way becoming narcissistic, you know. I'd rather kind of be leveled out sometimes, but it's like, damn it, can I be selfish for like 2 weeks? Could somebody give me 2 weeks and just be like, you know, this is your time to relax and let everything fall off your shoulders, and I am here for you, and I'm going to comfort you, and I will try not to cry. I might cry a little because you look pitiful, you know, but I'm going to take care of you. You know, I've never, like, I had that with my papa, and he died when I was 7, okay? And then my cousin Misty tried to do that with me, kind of, but she had so many mental health things going on and so much of her own life and stuff and trauma and everything. And me and her, instead of our connection being getting together and cry together, it was get together and laugh about everything together. You know, like, and that cool connection to have, you know, and I don't regret it one fucking bit. You know? But, anyways. And that's kind of the way that me and my sister did there for a little while. And that summer, or those summers that we got along, and this was after I attacked her, you know. Like, you know, it's like a guy, you get into a fight and then you respect each other, you know. Well, I attacked her and I about killed her ass and all kinds of hell, and it took about a year or 6 months to get over that. And then it's like, that's still my sister, you know. Like, damn, my sister's pretty cool. Damn, my sister about killed me. This is what I'm thinking my sister thought, you know. I might be wrong, but it's like, damn, my sister about killed me just because I slapped her in the face. And then it's like, holy shit, you know, like, I got a strong-ass fucking sister. You know, and it's like, if my sister will do that to me because I'm not acting right, is the best way to word it. Like, nobody cared about my sister enough to get on to her. You know, like, she's the golden child, so she got away with everything. And so I'm the first person to stand up to her ass and get the fuck on to her. And then that's even like I heard about one of her boyfriends that smacked her in the face, and my oldest niece heard about it, and he smacked her in the face because they'd been fighting on and off for a year or two or whatever. And my oldest niece come over and spent the night, and she told me about it, and I was like, oh, he did he? You know, and she's like, yeah, you know, and I'm like, you know, well, did mommy have a bruise or anything across her face? And she's like, no. She's like, you know, but I just heard him smack her and, you know, her cry or whatever. And I was like, you know, damn, you know, and everything. But then there's part of me that's like, heh, heh, heh. Because I always got the end of the abuse in the family. You know, she got away with everything for the most part. But then again, she didn't, because I think she got molested, you know. So she didn't get away with it, you know, and everything. But for as far as regular ass beatings like what I got, see, I refuse to just lay around and, you know, and like give in, like my willpower and my stubbornness and my smart ass mouth and all that and everything. Like, I wouldn't back down, you know, and that's the reason you get scapegoated, is because you're the one that stands out, you know. And so here's my sister, let's say, she's born, and then I'm born, you know, and then I'm like, something ain't right, you know, and then I'm like, don't talk to my sister like that. You know, like, say I'm like 3 years old and that's my sissy, you know, because I remember being adamant on that's my sissy, you know. Like, I remember that slightly from my childhood, because I loved my sissy. My sissy was my world, you know. She was my best friend, my playmate, all that, you know. And somebody, like, try to get on to her, like, say, my mom, my dad, my grandmother, you know, when she was little and stuff or whatever, and she wouldn't have done anything wrong. So we're, like, at the doctor's office. There's all these kids, you know, and these kids are being mean, and then they blame it on my sister, and then my sister gets the gist of it, you know, or whatever, and they get on to her and they scold her. And I'm the one that's going to set things straight, damn it. You know, that's the way that I was born into the world, you know. I'm going to set things straight, damn it, you know. And so I'd be like, she didn't do that. They're lying. I watched her. It was them, you know, or they did this, you know. And so it's like, pow, you know, like I'd get the smack for it, if you will, or whatever. And so that's you know, kind of how the whole scapegoating thing goes around, you know, or whatever. And then it's like, oh, you're just a mouthy little asshole. Well, we're going to put your ass in, you know, we're going to put you into shape, you know, or what the fuck ever and stuff. But, so anyways, so my sister had practically got away scot-free for the most part for as far as dealing with me. Anything she did to me, she didn't get in trouble for. And like I said, when I was like 7, I bit her, or 5, or somewhere around in there, I bit her. I think I was 5 and she was 9. All I know is we was in Mom and Dad's room, was rolling around on the bed, and, like, I got mad at her, and, like, because I think I was, like, jumping on the bed, and, like, she kept pulling my feet out from under me, and I kept falling back on the bed, and I was like, no, stop, I want to show you what I can do, you know. And she kept doing it, and she did it one time, and when she did, I think I come down, and, like, I about bit my tongue, like, I bit the tip of my tongue, you know, because I was like that when my head, you know, come down. And I was like, you know, because I was tense, because I was like trying to get her to stop doing it. She'd done it 3 times. I was like, stop, I want to show you. Because I think I was proud, like I'd learned how to tumble or some shit like that, like in kindergarten. And like I was trying to show her on Mom and Dad's bed, you know. And so like that 3rd or 4th time, she yanked my fucking feet out from underneath me. And I went down again and, you know, my teeth just, you know. And I was like, you know, and it just pissed me off. And so I just kind of took my feet and kind of shoved her up against the wall, you know, and then when I did that, she come and she tackled me on the bed, and she's all, you know, pulling my hair and kind of, you know, and bashing my head, if you will, and everything. I don't know where the hell anybody was at. They were all in their own world, sitting in the living room, smoking cigarettes and watching TV, I reckon. And so anyways, she's like, you know, beating me up and everything, and so I'm just, you know, I'm constantly grabbing her and blocking her arms and making sure she can't do this and do that. She grabs my hair, I grab her hair, you know, we're sitting there pulling each other's hair and everything, you know, and stuff, or whatever. And I got her off of me, and, like, I kind of kicked her, but she kind of went sideways, and so we're at the side of the bed, and so I just kind of took a flying leap on her, is the best way to word it. Next thing I know, we're in the floor. And then, because I took a flying leap on her, so I'm like this little ball, you know, this little 5-year-old, and she's 9 or whatever, she flips me over on the ground. She's got me on the ground, you know, and she's pulling my hair, and I'm pulling hers, and she's like, stop it. And I'm like, you stop it. You know, and she's like, stop it. You know, and I'm like, you stop it, you know. And I'm like, I'll stop it when you stop it. You know, I'm fair, you know, like I'm fair-minded, you know. And I was like, you're the one that started it. See, that's another thing, too, about me. You guys start shit with me. I don't go out and start shit with people. And so I'm like, oh, you know, so we're sitting there pulling each other's hair. And I look at her, because I'm like, we're at a stalemate, if you will. We both got clumps of each other's hair in the, you know, and we're yanking each other's hair. And maybe that's the reason my hair didn't grow in really thick until later on in life, because my parents was always like, we don't know when Heather's ever going to grow any hair. Maybe because my sister was constantly pulling at it every time she got mad at me. But anyways, so, you know, she's got a handful of hair, I got a handful of hair, and we're just, like, looking at each other, got this hands full of hair and everything, and I'm just looking at her, you know. And she doesn't know something's going on in my mind, you know, and I'm sitting here and I'm like, there has to be, I'm talking to myself, I'm like, there has to be a way out of this. There has to be a way to get her off of me. She's the one that started this. I didn't start this. I have to get the last laugh, you know. I have to get the last blow in, you know, or whatever, you know. I have to be the winner because she's the one that started it, and I'm just defending myself. And so she sees that twinkle in my eyes, if you will, that like that mischievousness or whatever. And so she gets it in her eyes, and I'm like, she knows what I'm fixing to do, and she done knows me. She knows what I'm fixing to do. She's my sister. And she's looking at me like, don't you dare, because we're at, like, our arms are, like, locked, or whatever, on each other's hair. And I'm like, what can I do to get out of this situation? And I done know that my physical body strength is, like, kind of more than hers, or whatever, my self strength, And I'm like, she can't hold my head fully down, And I'm like, I got this. And so I can reach her arm with my mouth, even though she's got a handful of my hair, I can reach her forearm right here, and I just took a fucking bite. And at first, I didn't bite real hard. I bit, and she just looked at me, and then I bit down real hard, and she's like, and then I just kept biting, and she, her face just kept scrunching up or whatever, and then I just looked at her, like, you gonna stop, and she wouldn't, and so I just, and I felt the skin up under my teeth just kind of, and I was like, oh shit, whenever it happened, and she's like, ah! And she let go of my hair, and I let go of hers, and we get up or whatever, and that was the end of it. And then my dad come in there because she's screaming and crying, and I mean, he jerked me up, oh my god, and he beat the fucking hell out of me. And that's when he told me, and she was standing right at the doorway after, because he was beating me. And so after, like, the first initial beat for a few minutes or whatever, like, she left, but then she come back at the end of the spanking or whatever. And, I mean, it was bad, but I gotta end this. But she just looked at me like, ha, you got in trouble. But I'll talk to you later.